Mame Mao Akwaba Emfa Umbra Ghana Insem TVGH so wofre me adwowa search
Kofi Oduro wanimu poto se ne yede utie no toilet mu wanimu fin se wo maame ase wanimu poto se ne ya hange wona wo soro na yede utie no amansan toilet mu Kwasiapanin bi bate se wo kurasini atete kwaba aboa preko bi bate se wo awode fon na wo maame de wo na sa awode ne menegum sa awode fon na ekora wo na abeyi wato ho a wobubom tiatia mu te se nantwi a wabodam gu nipa so no sa awode no mesi menegum kwasia bi bate se wo aboya wo kasa keke jimini a wo fra wo se Sofo asofo dina na se wode kwasiafo na edi sa Sofo no na ye sanka wo Kwasiapanin bi se wo ye den fra wo Sofo na Ghana for na sometimes no me hu na disase ebinum ho a ye the toilet from adwene na nye sa na ti anka nyansani be na ba betena wo Kwasiapanin bi te se wo anim se oba betie nyame asem be na wo ka wo ho sa mubum na wobubom te se kraman ase nantwi a wabodam no sa mubum abodamfo mubum na wobbo na no na wotie nyame asem no kwasia bi te se wo jimini bodam ni bi te se wo enne Ghana light enduma citizens hu hia wo a wo complain dia why hu fi se bola so adibi eba be ka kire Ghana fu se den Kwasiapanin na se Ghana kane edum na se ye wo mampani ampai bo na yede so kane ana kwasia jimi mahama time de timami ba ye se ye nyina ye come together na ye bompai na sa wo ye kwasia yiye omanbofo be bonsam Kwasiapanin na nado time de kane edum ya mamufu na mahama time de kane eduma ye se citizens ni nyina ye bompai de taye chi nyame ntua woka apra na embonkum wo Kofi Oduro wo yo manbo ani kwasia bi te se wo ka mfa wo hwe ase nkum ye hia wo Ghana abu efunu bi te se wo listen me catch the plane sa wo nua na wa ye se bosomo no Julius Debra no se ninti na ye so ba be ye president na wo we nya kwan aye te se Ibrahim Mahamade a ebebu aka wo sim abu aba sa unia na wa yete sa ase eho ne yefunu na befo committee no sa de fon no na enya asema ne ye nka ye beda be sore ne yesi Julius Debra na eye mampani wo Ghana aden Ghana abodamfo na wa na mmoya ne gu oba be di yenso se anu ntini sa de bebrebe ne jimi bebrebe di ameka kire wo se na suhumfo de kire no na obesiden kura be ye mampani wo Ghana na ye be hwa na ye betete Ghana sika ama kwasie bi te se wo Kofi Oduro in the name of who ya president who ni twasere kankan aboaba wuni ne twasere kankan kwasiaba Jimmy fo mahama ba amemu funye obuya niam nyina siniti ase no wo hu nka amemu papa na nado bu ikura na wo criticize nyame ntua wo kaka amfa hwe wo nkumu kwasie bi te se wo kani edum na nipa ho tete na citizens say complain ya obegina we say den eyen kwasia adwene woni twasere kankan bodamfo ba kwasia bi te say wo
Kwasiapanin, who is minority spokesperson on the economy. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us. Now, you are someone who really have followed this economy and how it's performing. The argument that the loss the Bank of Ghana has incurred is the cost of stabilizing the economy, which is making people comfortable. Isn't that a cost that should justify, or an explanation that should justify the loss?
Kojo, good evening to you and to your listeners. I want to start by making the point that you have played extensively what the majority has said at their press conference. I pray that you give the minority equal amount of time to respond before we get into any debate. First, I need you to clarify for me. Has Joy News cited the Bank of Ghana accounts as published?
No, we haven't cited it.
So what has happened is that the Bank of Ghana accounts have not been published, but the majority has been invited to do a press conference, ostensibly to try and shape people's minds before the accounts themselves are published. That should tell you that they are in an exercise of propaganda and PR, trying to hide the real facts from the Ghanaian people. What is happening is that yesterday's whistleblowers have become today's defenders. The cosmetics with which they've been managing things are beginning to wear off. And what is left now is a government side that is defending the things that they complained about when they were in opposition. Now, in 2023, the Bank of Ghana made a loss of 10 billion Ghana cedis. Today's majority, the then minority, were those who, among other things, went on demonstration, calling for the head of Governor Addison at the time, calling on him to resign. I think, if I recall correctly, within 21 days. And later, the then candidate who became president said that and other practices in the economy amounted to criminal mismanagement of the economy. I'm quoting his words. Today, they have made a loss of 15 billion Ghana cedis after they promised Ghanaians to give them power, they will do better. They've made a loss of 15 billion Ghana cedis. And instead of releasing the account so that everybody can read, they choose to hide the accounts and get the majority to do a press conference to spin it and try to explain it away. Now, you will recall that a number of things happened during the year. One, the minority kept drawing attention to the method that this government was using in its attempt to achieve a certain inflation number. They wanted to achieve a number and show to Ghanaians that they have done better. So they adopted a measure called sterilization, heavy sterilization. We have been speaking about it from 2025, and at a point they were even insulting our intelligence that we don't understand economics. And we kept saying that the extent of the sterilization they were doing will amount to huge costs on the Bank of Ghana. And that if they continue with sterilization, they can even achieve inflation of 0%. But the cost on the Bank of Ghana will be unbearable, and it did not also mean that the cost of living was going to go down. They rejected our argument, literally called us names, only today to turn around and say that the sterilization through open market operations is one of the largest contributors to their loss. You will recall again that we warned that the change in gold purchase policy from buying from the large-scale miners to now using the gold board was incurring losses which they were passing on to the Bank of Ghana. The IMF even highlighted some numbers in their document. And we even called for a parliamentary inquiry to go into the details and quickly put in place remediation measures. Because of politics, they refused to do that investigation. What's more, they moved that cost from Gold Board's books onto Bank of Ghana books and caused Gold Board yesterday quickly to publish their accounts and declare profit of 900 million. You see today the Bank of Ghana document, which they haven't released, but they are now spinning a political narrative about. They are even now admitting that the cost of the gold transaction is 9 billion Ghana cedis. Take that out and go and net it off what the Gold Board has announced as profit, and you will see the real impact of what has gone on there. They now want to argue that the work that the Bank of Ghana does contributes to what they call policy or economic costs. I want to refer you to Professor John Gachi in 2024, when the Bank of Ghana said that the sterilization or the open market operation costs that they had incurred, what they are now saying that small costs, small results. When the Bank of Ghana then explained that that sterilization was part of the loss, the NDC's chief advisor on the economy, Professor John Gachi, who now sits on the Bank of Ghana Advisory Committee, he said every loss is a loss. And that unless they're able to show it is a one-off item, Ghanaians should not take them seriously when they explain it as a policy or economic loss. Today, they are using the same words verbatim. But you see, the problem about the policy or economic loss argument is that if every year you are making policy or economic losses, it's not a one-off item. And what is now happening is that then any state-owned enterprise can make losses on the commercial transactions they are supposed to do, and they tell you that they are doing some economic good for the public. Does that make sense to you?
Sorry, but if you look at what they've been able to achieve, where majority of the people are saying that inflation is down, we are okay with it. Exchange rate is stable, we can plan with it. Is their cost not justified than what happened during your time?
So when the Bank of Ghana, through its open market operations, lost money and brought inflation down from 53% to 20-something%, was that justified or not? principle is principle. We have said time and time again that they should be honest and candid with the fact. They are the ones who have tried every time to scam the people of Ghana with some different narrative. If they had admitted at the time that that loss, mostly because of the open market operations of the central bank, to bring inflation down from 53% to 23% was justified, they will be in a good position to make that argument today. They rejected it then. Why should that argument be accepted today? The Ghanaian people should see, as I mentioned, the scam that the NDC is perpetrating. They say one thing, when they have the opportunity, they try to change the language as though they are doing something new. And I draw your attention to the fact that 10 billion was condemnable. I don't know what they will say about 15 billion. But what is even worse, I tell you, we know where they are going to hide it. When we get into the full analysis of this after our press conference next week, we will show you where they are going to hide it again. Because that structure they have put in place will forever be a loss-making structure. And somebody will have to bear the cost. So they only move the cost from Bank of Ghana and go and hide it somewhere else. But we will once again expose that as well. If they say that 2026, you will not see 16 billion cost of open Ghana cedi loss, they should have the humility to sit at the table, stop the propaganda, and let us share with them the lessons we have learned so that they can serve Ghana better in this short time that they have.